Hey everyone, this is part of our mini series on getting things done from a biblical perspective. Again, as we've been going through these things on the mini series, you can also listen to the longer podcasts that go much more in depth than these short videos do. Today, what we're going to be talking about is a weekly review. So a weekly review, what is it? Basically, it is a time built into your week where you remind yourself what your priorities are. And so I really enjoy having a weekly review because it helps me to empty my inbox, update my planner, and update my project list, and plan out the week ahead. Now, you can also actually attach some other things, and I'll talk about those in just a little bit, to your weekly review to help you just knock out all your planning for the week. So what is a weekly review? Like I said, it's just this time to prioritize. What I would suggest doing is every Friday or every Monday, or maybe Sunday night, setting aside 15 to 30 minutes to knock out your weekly review. Some people would need quite a bit more time to be able to do their weekly review, whereas some probably wouldn't. It just kind of depends on how much responsibility that you have going on in your life. So the first thing that you do with your weekly review is you print out a do now list and a next action list. You can find those on the project planning system on the blog. And then you review your old do now and next action list. Basically, you're wanting to make sure that there's nothing that you missed last week. If there was anything that you didn't get done, that needs to go and be prioritized for this week or taken off your next action list. Then you need to empty your physical and digital inbox. You can hear about that in a previous podcast, but basically you need to have a place set up where you capture all of those to-dos and make sure that you write them down. And so then what you do every week is you empty out your inbox and put them on the correct list, whether that's your do now, next action, someday, or waiting for list. You want to review those waiting for and someday list. Some of those lists will be updated. So again, you might move some next actions to your someday list or vice versa, and you may have heard back from somebody. So you'll update your waiting for list. Then you want to complete any do nows. So make sure you knock those out. Don't procrastinate on those. If you need to contact somebody, if it's on your do now list, it's there for a reason. So knock those out. You can even throw away that list if it's completely done because you're finished with it. And you could throw away your old do now and next action list from the previous week as well. And then you update your planner with any calendar items or next action lists that have a day attached to it. Again, what I like to do is I like to keep my next action list with my planner so they're all together. And then I don't even keep it in my project notebook. That stays on my desk and I don't really carry it around with me. I only update it during my weekly review. So you might have to update some project lists and some other lists as well as you're knocking out your list for your next actions. And then again, old list, thrown away, new list, put them where they need to go. Next actions can go in your planner. The rest of them go back in your notebook. A couple things you could add to your weekly review as a form of habit stacking to make sure you're knocking out certain things is meal planning. This would be a great time to do your meal planning for the upcoming week. The planner that I use has a place for meal planning. You could also update your budget. So I use a budget spreadsheet thing that is attached to like Google Sheets. And so I can actually update my budget as I go throughout the month and I can see where all my categories are. So weekly review, perfect time to do that. If you are homeschooling, you could write down what happened the week before and then update lesson plans for the next week ahead at that moment. Any kind of exercise plans, you could do that then, or any other kind of weekly tasks that you need to do. Now, you don't want it to get too long because if you were doing all of this and you're like, this is going to take 3 hours to do all of what I just talked about, then obviously you don't want to do that because you don't want your to-do list or your next actions, because you don't want your weekly review to get so long that you don't want to do it anymore and you start procrastinating on it. But if you have a good system for a meal plan, and if you have a good system for how you do your homeschool stuff where you can just plug it in, then that maybe will attach 15 to 20 more minutes to your weekly review, but your planning is completely done for the week ahead. And I think that is the goal that we want. We want all our planning to be done so that we can focus just on what we need to get done right then. So I hope you've enjoyed this and I hope you'll join me for the next episode.